Ready for a deep dive, listener?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Today we're diving into a reality that might just be a complete illusion.
Sounds fun.
We're talking about cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman
Right.
and his ideas about consciousness evolution and something called space-time.
Yeah.
We've got excerpts from his interview on the Andre Decum YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
So get ready for a wild ride.
When you say wild,
Oh, yeah.
you really mean it. We're going to be questioning everything
Yeah.
about reality itself.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Let's unpack this.
Mm-hmm.
Hoffman starts with a really intriguing idea. What if our senses, the very tools we use to experience the world, evolved to help us survive?
Survive?
Not necessarily to show us what's actually real.
It's like a video game.
Okay.
Like Grand Theft Auto. Knowing the code behind the buildings and cars
Yeah.
wouldn't make you a better player.
No,
It wouldn't.
it would not.
Our senses are kind of like that.
Okay.
They're giving us the controls to survive, but not the whole picture of reality.
So we're stuck seeing the game interface, not the code itself?
Yeah.
But then Hoffman takes it up a notch
Okay.
and says that the probability of our senses evolving to see objective reality is literally zero.
Literally zero.
Zero. That's a bold statement. How does he back that up?
He uses something called evolutionary game theory.
Okay.
It basically says that natural selection would favor creatures whose perceptions help them pass on their genes,
Okay.
even if those perceptions are a bit off from the actual nature of reality.
So you're telling me there's a chance that our senses aren't lying to us?
It's a chance, but Hoffman throws that out the window with his calculations.
Okay, so if our senses are like a limited video game interface, what is this reality hiding behind the screen?
This is where things get really interesting.
Right.
Hoffman proposes that space-time itself, the fabric of our universe, is kind of like a headset.
Like a VR headset.
Exactly. A headset that's a limited interface to a much vaster reality that we can barely even conceive of.
Okay.
Think about how we only perceive a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right.
That's like having a headset that only lets us see a limited range of colors.
Yeah.
Hoffman is suggesting that space-time is like that, but for everything.
Wow.
It limits our perception of the true nature of reality.
So it's limiting us.
And get this,
Okay.
even the concept of the electromagnetic spectrum is a product of our limited perception,
What?
not necessarily a fundamental truth of the universe.
Whoa. It's like we're realizing that the menu screen in a video game is part of the game itself.
Yeah.
Not some geek behind the curtain of the game's programming.
Exactly.
It's all just part of the illusion.
Yeah.
So if we're living in a simulation,
Yeah.
what does that even mean for reality itself?
Well, Hoffman would say it means we need to rethink some pretty fundamental assumptions.
Okay.
For starters, we have to ditch the idea of local realism.
Local realism. Okay, for those of us who haven't dedicated our lives to theoretical physics, break that down for us.
Sure, local realism is this idea that objects exist independently of observation.
Okay.
Like that coffee cup in front of me
Yeah.
exists whether or not I'm looking at it.
Right.
But here's the thing. Experiments in quantum mechanics have proven that local realism is false.
Wait, what? So you're saying this coffee cup doesn't exist when I'm not looking at it?
It's mind-bending, isn't it?
That's messing with my mind a little bit.
These experiments show that particles don't have definite properties until they're observed.
So they're waiting for us.
It's as if the universe is waiting for us to look before it decides what it's going to be.
Okay, so reality is on a need-to-know basis, I guess, but how does Hoffman explain that?
He proposes an alternative model.
Okay.
One where reality is not made up of objects in space-time, but rather a social network of conscious agents existing outside of space-time.
Conscious agents. Sounds a bit out there, doesn't
Oh.
it? Like, is my dog a conscious agent?
That's precisely it.
Oh,
And it's not just your dog.
right.
Every conscious being, every observer is part of this network interacting and influencing each other
Okay.
in ways that are difficult for us to grasp with our limited headset brains.
So we're all connected in this network of consciousness.
Yes.
I can see why people might think this sounds a little far-fetched.
It might sound like something out of a science fiction novel.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Hoffman's model isn't just some philosophical musing.
Okay.
He's working on mathematical models to describe this network of conscious agents.
So there's actual math behind this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He claims that this network is computationally universal,
Okay.
meaning it can theoretically do anything a computer can do,
Wow.
including potentially giving rise to artificial intelligence.
Okay.
We're talking about the fundamental building blocks of reality here.
Okay, so this network of conscious agents,
Right.
this computationally universal system,
Yeah.
how does that explain all the weirdness we see in quantum physics? You know,
I know what you mean.
the stuff that makes even physicists scratch their heads.
That's where things get really exciting.
Okay.
Hoffman believes his model can explain some of the most bizarre discoveries in modern physics.
Okay.
Things like
Like what?
this thing called the amplituhedron.
What?
Amplituhedron?
The amplituhedron.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to break that one down for me.
Sure.
It sounds like something out of a Doctor Who episode.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's real.
Really?
It's a geometric structure
Okay.
that physicists discovered.
Okay.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
It exists outside of space-time.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that's not bound by the laws of physics.
The laws of physics as we understand them.
As we understand them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's
like, boy.
finding the blueprint to our reality,
Okay.
but it's hanging out in some dimension we didn't even know existed.
We didn't even know existed.
Right.
Okay.
And the mind-blowing part
Yeah.
is that Hoffman thinks his theory of conscious agents could explain where these structures come from.
So these conscious agents are shaping the fabric of reality from some other dimension.
Yeah.
Okay, my brain is officially starting to hurt.
I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the scientific community is taking this seriously.
They are.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The European Research Council recently funded a 10 million euro initiative to explore these new geometries further.
10 million euros.
10 million euros.
Wow.
So we might be on the verge of a revolution in our understanding of, well, everything. This is where it gets really existentially juicy for me.
Okay.
If space-time is an illusion, if we're more like players in a massive multiplayer video game,
Okay.
what does that mean for life and death?
Well, Hoffman has some thoughts on that, too.
Okay.
He draws a parallel to dying in a video game.
Okay.
It's not really the end of the player, just the end of that particular game.
Okay.
You can always start a new game, right? Maybe even one with a different character or setting.
So death is just logging out,
Yeah.
hitting reset.
It's a simplification, of course,
Yeah.
but that's the general idea.
Yep.
If space-time is just the interface,
Yeah.
then death as we perceive it
Yeah.
might not be the end at all.
That's both terrifying and strangely comforting at the same time.
Yeah.
But what about all this talk about consciousness and mind-bending math?
Right.
Even Hoffman admits that we're bumping up against the limits of language and logic here.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin to wrap our heads around something that transcends our understanding?
That's a point Hoffman emphasizes.
Okay.
He argues that even our most sophisticated scientific theories,
Okay.
even the language of mathematics,
Yeah.
are ultimately just pointers
Okay.
to a reality that transcends both.
Okay.
Imagine trying to describe the taste of a strawberry
Okay.
to someone who's never tasted one.
Okay.
Words can only point in the general direction,
Right.
but they can't fully capture the experience itself.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like I can tell you about the redness of a strawberry,
Yeah.
its texture, maybe
Yeah.
even its chemical composition.
Right.
But none of that will ever give you the actual experience of tasting a strawberry.
Precisely.
Right.
And Hoffman brings in Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem to drive this point home.
Okay.
Gödel proved that within any system of logic,
Okay.
there will always be true statements that cannot be proven within that system.
So there are things that are true.
That we can't prove.
You just can't prove.
Right. So even with our most rigorous logic and mathematics,
Yeah.
we're always going to be missing some part of the picture.
So are we just out of luck then? Are we doomed to forever be bumping up against the limits of our own understanding?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Hoffman argues that while we may never fully grasp the code of reality beyond space-time,
Okay.
understanding that it exists
Yeah.
could lead to unimaginable breakthroughs.
Okay.
It's like we may never fully understand how gravity works at the quantum level.
Right.
But that doesn't stop us from launching satellites into orbit.
So even a partial understanding of this code could be revolutionary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hoffman gives some pretty mind-blowing examples.
Okay, like what?
We're talking of potentially revolutionizing transportation.
Okay.
Imagine bypassing space-time altogether. Andromeda might be just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Okay, now that's a vacation I can get behind.
Right.
Sign me up.
But what about something a bit more down to earth?
Okay.
How could this impact something like medicine?
Okay, yeah.
Imagine being able to rewire the brain outside of the limitations of space-time.
Outside the limitations.
We could treat conditions that are currently considered incurable,
Wow.
unlocking levels of healing we can barely even fathom right now.
It sounds like we're venturing into the realm of science fiction. But it's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
But with all this talk about the limitations of our current understanding,
Yeah.
what about those experiences that seem to defy our scientific models?
But-
Things like out-of-body experiences,
Oh.
precognition, near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Do these fit into Hoffman's model at all?
That's a great question.
It is a great question.
And it's one that Hoffman doesn't shy away from. So he's not dismissing them as just hallucinations or tricks of the mind.
Not quite. He acknowledges that many, if not most of these reported experiences are likely misinterpretations
Okay.
or products
Yeah.
of our very human tendency to find patterns
Right.
where there are none.
Okay, so he's got that healthy dose of skepticism. But where does that leave the truly unexplainable stuff?
This is where Hoffman calls for more rigorous scientific investigation.
Okay.
He believes that if there's something real to these experiences,
Yeah.
we need to understand them within a framework that doesn't shy away from the truly mind-boggling implications of a consciousness-based reality.
So dive in head first.
Exactly.
Other-
He's not afraid to push those boundaries.
He's not afraid to push those boundaries.
And this is where his model of conscious agents comes into play again.
Okay.
He believes that a truly comprehensive theory of consciousness
Okay.
should be able to account for these seemingly anomalous experiences,
Right.
not just sweep them under the rug.
Right.
He wants to understand how they might arise
Right.
within a reality where consciousness is fundamental,
Yeah.
where space-time is just the interface, not the whole story.
So it sounds like Hoffman is calling for a radical paradigm shift
Yeah,
in the way we approach science
absolutely.
and our understanding of reality itself.
100%.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Break that down for me. How does Hoffman's theory change the way we view the self?
Well, if consciousness is fundamental
Right.
and space-time is just an interface,
Yeah.
the idea of a separate, isolated self starts to crumble. It's like
like
we're not isolated islands, but part of a vast and interconnected archipelago,
okay.
all connected beneath the surface.
A beautiful analogy. It's like we're all individual waves,
Yeah,
but part of the same ocean of consciousness.
precisely.
Yeah.
And if we take that analogy seriously,
Yeah.
it has profound implications for how we interact with each other.
With the planet, with all of reality.
It makes you wonder
Yeah.
if clinging to outdated models of reality
Right.
and a sense of separateness
Yeah.
is actually holding us back from making real progress
It really makes you think.
on issues like climate change,
Yeah.
social justice, global peace.
It's like we're playing a massive multiplayer game.
Okay.
But instead of cooperating,
Yeah.
we're stuck in a cycle of competition, blind to the fact that we're all part of the same game,
We are.
striving for the same ultimate goal.
And that goal being what exactly?
It's a question, isn't it?
What's the objective of this cosmic game we're all playing?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And Hoffman doesn't claim to have a definitive answer.
Of course not.
He suggests that maybe the point is simply to experience,
Right.
to see ourselves reflected back through the myriad perspectives of this vast interconnected web of being.
It's like the universe is a giant mirror,
Okay.
and we're all reflections of the same source.
Yeah.
Each with our own unique perspective, our own little piece of the puzzle.
A beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
And perhaps by embracing this interconnectedness,
Okay.
by letting go of our rigid ideas about what's real and what's not,
Yeah.
we can unlock a deeper level of understanding,
Right.
a sense of unity that transcends our current limited perception.
It's certainly a tantalizing idea
It is.
to think that the most transformative discoveries,
Yeah.
the solutions to our most pressing problems, might lie beyond the boundaries of our current understanding of reality.
It really could be the case.
It could. It's an invitation to approach the unknown with a sense of curiosity,
Absolutely.
to question our assumptions,
Yeah.
to be open to the possibility that the truth, as they say, might be stranger than fiction.
100%.
And maybe, just maybe, by letting go of our need to have all the answers,
Yeah.
by embracing the mystery and wonder of it all,
Right.
We could open ourselves up to a whole new way of being in the world.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would.
To step outside the confines of our self-imposed limitations
Yeah.
and realize that the most incredible journey, the
Yeah.
most profound discovery,
Yeah.
isn't about reaching some distant destination,
Right.
but about exploring the infinite depths of consciousness
That's
that lie within each and every one of us.
It's certainly a journey worth taking. So listener, as you navigate the matrix of your own reality, consider this. What if the most profound truths, the most transformative discoveries, lie just beyond the boundaries of our current comprehension? What if the greatest adventure is the exploration of consciousness itself? Until next time, keep diving deep.